Hello and welcome to Mrs. E English Skills. I'm Mrs. E and today we're looking at Functional Skills English Level 2, Session 3, Bias and Compare and Contrast. So what is bias? To find out, we must investigate fact and opinion. A fact is a thing that is known or proved to be true. An opinion is a view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. You can see that a fact depends on results, something that you cannot say is untrue, whereas an opinion can be debated. It's an argument, it's a view, and we all have them. So what has that got to do with bias? Well, bias is an opinion that is prejudiced in favour of or against one thing, person or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair. If a newspaper or magazine article is biased, it means that it takes sides and does not give a fair representation of both sides of an argument. If a newspaper or magazine article is balanced, it means that it does not take sides and it considers both points of view in an argument or situation equally. Let's look at an example. I'm going to show two short articles about the same subject. Here's number 1. What a waste of time. Imagine the scene. You're a single mother struggling to make ends meet. You're fiercely independent and used to managing alone. The house you have strived to create for you and your 3 small children becomes freezing as temperatures plunge in winter. Your boiler is broken and you have no money to get it fixed. In desperation, you walk 4 miles to a local park and cut down a tree to build a fire. Whilst heaving the heavy trunk home, you are apprehended by the police and arrested for destroying public property. This is policing gone crazy. Why arrest those in need when real criminals are wandering the streets? Now let's look at number 2. Woman arrested for chopping down tree. Jessica Reynolds, 37, was arrested yesterday for chopping down a tree in Westacre Country Park. Police Constable M.C. Copper said the mother of 3 was detained at 2:30 p.m. on Trevor Road as she pulled a tree along the pavement. Miss Reynolds, when interviewed, said, "I have no way of paying for a new boiler. The only way to keep my children warm is to use the wood-burning stove. Firewood is so expensive, so I chopped down a public tree. I'm a member of the public, so I don't see what I've done wrong." A police spokesperson said, "Destroying public property is a crime." Think about these 2 articles. Do you think they are balanced and fair articles, or do they take sides and present only one point of view? Pause the video here to think about this, and maybe you could answer, is one biased and one balanced? Which one would you say is more biased, and which one would you say is more balanced? So which article is more biased? Can you find examples to justify your answer? How about, what a waste of time? Is that a biased opinion? Imagine the scene. You're a single mother struggling to make ends meet. In desperation, you walk 4 miles. What do these examples make you think about? Straight away, when it says imagine the scene, you're a single mother, using the second person, you are put into the position of the person who's committed the crime. So you are going to feel more sympathy for that person. Then it talks about how this mother's house, where she strived to create it for her 3 small children, is freezing and she hasn't got enough money to pay for her boiler. You're given this full scenario which makes you feel sorry for this woman. So when it says this is policing gone crazy, by that point, you might agree with them. This article is definitely biased. And if we were going to pick out examples for an exam, we would probably pick out what a waste of time and this is policing gone crazy. The reason we would pick this out is because they're opinions based on the fact that whoever wrote this article has some sort of emotional connection to the woman in question. Whereas the other article, it gives a fair representation of both sides. The police officer or constable gives his view, destroying public property is a crime, and Miss Reynolds gives her view. How did you do? Let's do some exam practice using an exam style question from the Functional Skills Level 2 reading paper. Here is a forum discussing the replacement of a multi-storey car park with a new arts centre. Give 4 examples of bias from the comments posted on the forum. Remember, bias is a prejudiced opinion. So somebody gives an opinion based on something in their own interest. Pause the video here to have a go before I reveal the answers. Okay, let's highlight some examples you could have used for your answer. Number 1, Amandu says, the envy of the Northeast. Amandu was involved in the project to create the art centre, so they're bound to have a positive opinion of it, or at least give a positive opinion because there's something in it for them. Number 2, Ammo96 believes it's the wrong thing at the wrong time because they think the city is already struggling. Also, it seems as if Ammo96 really wanted a car park. Number 3, Cyrus2 says, what a waste of money. This person also really wanted a car park, so they're going to project a negative opinion. Number 4, what an ugly building. John really would like to go to the theatre maybe, but they can't afford it because they don't have a job. So they're presenting a negative opinion. And then lastly, number 5, Amandu again posts, I don't agree, and it's a fine example of modern architecture. Again, Amandu was involved in the creation of the art centre, so again we can say this is prejudiced, so therefore it's biased. So the question only asks for 4 examples, but there are 5 there to choose from. So you could even put 1 for good luck, just in case. How did you do? Okay, now let's look at compare and contrast. But what does compare and contrast mean? When you are comparing and contrasting, you are looking at 2 or more texts and asking, what are the similarities and differences? The exam question will ask you to compare, contrast, or both a certain topic. For example, compare and contrast opinions about veganism in documents 1 and 2. Here are 2 short articles about the same subject. Can you compare and contrast their opinions of veganism? Remember, compare and contrast means what are the similarities and what are the differences. So I'll read each out to you. As I'm doing this, you can make a note of any similarities and any differences between them. Number 1, is a plant-based diet really better? I decided to go vegan during Veganuary last year as it seemed like the moral thing to do, saving animals and reducing climate change. At first I seemed healthier, lost weight and felt like I had more energy than Mo Farah. But after 6 months I started to get severe headaches and found it difficult to get up and energised to complete even the simplest of tasks. I gradually reintroduced meat into my diet, as well as some dairy products, and I found that my energy started to return. I think a balanced diet, rather than one-sided, is the way to go. Now let's look at number 2. Save yourselves as well as the animals. I am proud to say that I am vegan and it has changed my life for the better. I used to be overweight, lacking in energy, and struggled with bowel issues. I changed my diet to 100% plant-based 2 years ago and all of my health issues disappeared. I also feel like I'm doing my bit for the environment. Gases produced by livestock are a major factor in global warming, so the less cows in the field, the less damage inflicted on our fragile earth. It seems like a win-win to me. Pause the video here to see if you can find examples to answer the question, compare and contrast their opinions of veganism. So first, let's look at a similarity. Number 1 says reducing climate change, and number 2 says I also feel like I'm doing my bit for the environment. Gases produced by livestock are a major factor in global warming, so the less cows in the field, the less damage inflicted on our fragile earth. So we could say that's a similarity, that they both feel like veganism is better for the environment. Let's pick out a difference. Number 1 says, I started to get severe headaches and found it difficult to get up and energised to complete even the simplest of tasks. Whereas number 2 says, I changed my diet to 100% plant-based 2 years ago and all of my health issues disappeared. So they seem to disagree on whether it's better for your health to be a vegan or not. So let's look at a sample answer as if this was in a Functional Skills Level 2 reading paper. Both texts agree that veganism is good for the environment. Text 1 states reducing climate change, and text 2 states I'm doing my bit for the environment. However, they disagree about the effects of veganism on their health. Text 1 states I started to get severe headaches, whereas text 2 states all of my health issues disappeared. You get marks for the statement that they agree or disagree on, such as good for the environment and bad for their health, and you get marks for the quotes from each text. So try to write your answers in this format. I've also highlighted the comparison words, both, however and whereas, because this is definitely useful to know if you want to move on to GCSE. How did you do? Thank you for watching. I hope that video has been enjoyable, and I hope it's helped you if you are coming up to your Functional Skills reading paper exam. Don't forget to check out my other videos, especially this playlist if you are studying functional skills at the moment. And as ever, please can you like and subscribe? It really does help me out. It allows me to make more and more videos for this channel and help lots of people doing lots of different English qualifications. As ever, if you've got a question, just add a comment and I'll do my best to answer. As always, I'm Mrs. E, and I will see you soon.